Here's the deal. You want to speak English fluently, like a native English speaker. But the problem is, it's difficult. Well, you see, there are 5 habits you need to have in order to sound like a native English speaker and speak fluently. And I'm going to teach you those 5 habits today. I'm Teacher Tiffany. Let's jump right in. All right, 5 habits you need to speak English fluently. Habit number 1. Organize all of your plans and ideas. Now, you'll remember in last week's video, we went over this. I gave you a plan and showed you how to lay out all of your goals for an entire year. Now, if you missed that, just click right here and you can watch the video right now and learn about the English planner and how to set out your goals for a year. Okay? So, habit number 1, organize all of your plans and ideas. The first habit deals with organizing all of your English plans and ideas. In other words, you want to make a habit of laying out all of your English goals. This is such an important habit for you to have because you need to have an idea of where you're going. All right. Now, there's a really good quote that I want to tell you about. So this quote comes from Christina Scalise, and it says, "Organization isn't about perfection. It's about efficiency, reducing stress and clutter, saving time and money, and improving your overall quality of life." Now, there were 2 words in this quote that I want to explain to you. The first one was efficiency. Now, efficiency means the quality of being able to do a task successfully without wasting time or energy. As an English learner, even though you're studying English, you also have a life. You're also busy with work, with family, and your schedule sometimes is a bit hectic. Well, being efficient, using your time wisely is so important, and this habit of organizing your plans and ideas will help you do that. Now, the second word in the quote was clutter. Now, clutter means a lot of things in a messy state, especially things that are not useful or necessary. So let's say in your room, you may have a lot of things strewn or thrown across the floor. Well, the same can happen with your life. You may have so many things going on that you feel that you can't make time for English. But if you organize your plans and your ideas, you will be able to actually study, okay? Now, there's one more quote that I want to show you, okay? Now, this quote actually comes from Benjamin Franklin. He said, "For every minute spent organizing, an hour is earned." That's right. For every minute you take the time to organize your plans and ideas, you've actually gained an hour, okay? So again, habit number 1, organize all of your plans and ideas. Now, the benefits. First, you will know what you know. Now, you may say, "Teacher, what does that mean?" So, for example, as an English learner, there are things that you've learned over time. For example, if I say, "Hey, how was your day today?" You know exactly what I'm saying. You know what you know. But this will also help you feel more confident when you speak in English, okay? So, helps you to know what you know and also what you don't know, okay? Benefit number 2, you will see your progress and be able to know the steps or the next steps you need to take. You will also know which areas you need to focus on. And finally, you will decrease the nervousness and anxiety you experience when you speak in English. Now, many of you have sent me messages or even typed in the comments underneath the videos and told me how nervous you get when you speak in English. And I totally understand. Now, there is a word that I want to explain to you. The word is anxiety. Okay, so anxiety is a feeling of nervousness or worry. It's another way of saying that you're nervous and you feel like you can't actually speak. So again, when you have this habit of organizing all of your plans and ideas, it will actually decrease the nervousness you experience because now you have an idea of what you know and what you don't know. Okay, so how do you do this? I know you're asking me. So let me show you how to do this. This is what you need to do. Make or get an English study planner, okay? Now remember, in our last video, I showed you how to set up your planner, and I also showed you the planner that I created for you. So if you want to get the planner, it's still available. The link is in the description, okay? All right, so again, you need to make or get an English planner, an English study planner. Write your goals, study strategy, focus areas, and what you would like to learn. You need to designate the time period for each as well. This is very important. If you organize your English study, then you will actually reach all of your goals, okay? All right, so now let's move on to habit number 2. Habit number 2 is think in English and believe that you can. That's a key. You have to believe that you can do it. Now, the second habit deals with thinking in English instead of your first language. In other words, you want to make a habit of challenging yourself to describe situations in English. Here's the first quote from Dennis Waitley. If you believe you can, you probably can. If you believe you won't, you most assuredly won't. Belief is the ignition switch that gets you off the launching pad. Now, there are quite a few words in there that I want to explain to you, okay? There are 2 vocabulary words and then a third concept that I want to explain to you, or a third expression. So the first one was assuredly. Now, this just means to be definite, okay? To be a fact, all right? The second one was ignition. Now, ignition is the part where the fuel is ignited. So I want you to think about when you're starting something, starting a car, or even when you want something to spark, the ignition, okay? And then the third one was launching pad. Now, this is a platform from which rockets or missiles or satellites are launched. So we're saying launching pad being the starting point. So again, looking back at this quote, here we go. It says again, if you believe you can, you most or probably can. But if you believe you won't, you most assuredly won't. Belief is the ignition. Belief is the starting point. So you have to believe that you actually can think in English, all right? Now, the second quote I love is this one from Marianne Williamson. You must learn a new way to think before you can master a new way to be. So, before you can speak like a native English speaker, you must first master how to think like a native English speaker, or think in English. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how. Now, here are the benefits of this habit. First, you will respond faster during conversations. Next, you will learn new words and patterns faster because your brain will get used to the flow. And finally, you will start connecting your daily life to English. Trust me, this is going to blow your mind when you start putting into practice this habit and start to make it a daily habit. Now, how do you do this? Here we go. I'm going to show you. So here's what you have to do. Keep a daily or weekly journal. In this journal, you should write about your day using the 5 W's. Again, I love the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, and why. Training your brain to think in English about every situation, all right? And doing this will also help you think about situations in English throughout your day, all right? So, habit number 3, overcome your fears related to English. The third habit deals with overcoming the fears you have related to English. In other words, you want to make a habit of pushing yourself to conquer your fears and speak English. Here's the fact. Sometimes English can be difficult. No, English is difficult many times, right? Many times when you're trying to speak in English, you feel that it's so difficult. And a lot of times you feel fear. You get afraid to speak in English. You're afraid to make mistakes. You're afraid to sound let's say, you don't want to sound like a person who's not smart. But listen, you have to overcome those fears. I get it. I totally understand. When I was learning Korean, I experienced the exact same fears. But you have to make it a habit of overcoming your fears. Here's the quote I want to show you, okay? Here's the first quote. I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done does away with fear. This is from Rosa Parks. So, Two expressions, one expression and one vocabulary word I want to explain to you from this quote. The first one is mind is made up. Now, this is used to say when someone or that someone has made a decision and will not change it. I'm firm in my decision. I will not change. So your mind is made up. For example, you've made up your mind to study English with me, your teacher, and I'm so happy, right? Now, the other word is diminish. Now, diminish means to become reduced in size, importance, or intensity. So again, like we said, like we read in the quote, I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, what diminishes? That's right. When you make up your mind, your fear will decrease. Now, the second quote I want us to look at that is very powerful comes from Henry Ford. One of the greatest discoveries a man makes, one of his great surprises, is to find he can do what he was afraid he couldn't do. You can do it. That's what Henry Ford was saying. You will surprise yourself. Right now you feel like, teacher, I'm never going to be able to speak English like a native English speaker. Or I'm never going to be able to speak in front of an American. I'm too shy. No, you will surprise yourself. You can overcome your fear. Now, what are the benefits of making it a habit of overcoming your fears? Let me show you. So the first benefit is you will gain more confidence in yourself and in your ability to speak English. Next, you will go further than you thought you could. Fear limits your full potential and holds you back. Now, let me explain the word potential and the expression hold you back. So, potential means to say that someone or something has the necessary abilities or qualities to become successful in the future. You have potential. You have the potential, and I know that you can speak English fluently. Now, the other expression, hold you back, it means to prevent or restrict the advance, progress, or development of someone or something. So your fear is holding you back. Don't let it hold you back anymore. Now, here's the third benefit. Here we go. The third benefit is you will have more courage to tackle the next English challenge. Now, the word tackle just means to deal with something in a very determined or efficient way. You can do it. You can tackle it. You can be determined to overcome your fears. How do you do it? Here's what you do. Here's what you do. All right, here we go. Challenge yourself to use your English skills in front of other people. For example, you can make a phone call to a business to ask a question. That's a free call. You can call them and ask them a question about, let's say, for example, you like iPhones, or maybe you like Samsung. I love Samsung, right? Call the company and say, I have a quick question about some feature. That's a free call, but you're getting the opportunity to practice and overcome your fear, okay? Now, or you can write a comment underneath a YouTube video. There are many ways to overcome your fears. Remember, I told you all in a previous video, in the comment section, always write a comment because you're practicing your English. Don't just watch these videos and enjoy the lesson. I want you to take action. Every time you watch one of my videos, put a comment in the comment section. Use the English, overcome your fear, and don't worry about what other people say, okay? All right, let's move on to the next habit. Here we go. Now, habit number 4, listen or watch things in English. The fourth habit deals with listening and watching things in English. In other words, you want to make a habit of putting lots of real life English into your mind. This is such an important habit. You need to watch a lot of things in English. You need to listen to a lot of things in English. Now, here's the first quote I want us to look at. Here we go. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. So many times when you're watching something or listening to someone speak, you're thinking about what you're going to say. But no, this habit is listening intently. Now, the word intent, let me explain it to you. It means to be eager and determined to do something, right? Intent. So be eager to truly listen. Be eager to take in the information, okay? And not just focusing on what you're going to say at the moment. And the next thing I want us to look at is quote number 2. Also a powerful quote, okay? Here we go. The art of conversation lies in listening. You want to have better English conversations, right? Well, Malcolm Forbes just showed you what the key is. Learning how to truly listen. So, lies in, this expression lies in, it means to come about from or to be the result of something or to depend on something. Basically, the foundation or the origin of good conversation is listening. All right, so here are the benefits. Here we go. Number one, you will become a better communicator. And a communicator is just a person who is able to convey or exchange information, news, or ideas, especially one who is eloquent, who can explain and express themselves very well. All right, benefit number two. You will gain an understanding of how your tone of voice and intonation can change the meaning of your words. Now, intonation. Now, intonation is the way that your voice rises and falls as you speak. Now, as I'm speaking to you, I'm your teacher, so I'm speaking with confidence to express these habits to you, right? To explain them to you. But if I suddenly change my tone of voice and I'm just kind of speaking like this, suddenly the feeling changes, right? You don't feel as confident in what I'm teaching you. Exactly, right? Okay, so your tone of voice is important, all right? That's intonation. Now, the third benefit is you will improve your pronunciation and sound more like a native English speaker. All right, now how do you do this? Watch a YouTube video and analyze it. You want to pay attention to the body language used, speed, tone of voice, expressions, and vocabulary, okay? As you're watching, you see that I always use my hands when I'm speaking to you. Well, dissect the video. Wait a minute, why is Teacher Tiffani using her fingers in that way? Why is she doing that with her facial expressions? Think about things as you're watching them, okay? All right, so let's go to habit number 5. Oh, and I want to tell you, I'm giving you the 5 habits that you need to have to be fluent. But if you want the action plan, part 2 of this video, again, all members in my academy can watch part 2 of this lesson and have the 7-day action plan to start putting these habits into practice, okay? All right, so let's go on to habit number 5. Here we go. Habit number 5, take action and use what you learn. The 5th habit deals with taking action and using what you learn. In other words, you want to make a habit of finding ways to use the English you learn in real life situations. Here's the quote from Joe Saba. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Remember that. You don't have to be great. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be fluent in order to start. But in order to be fluent, you must start. So start today. If you want to be fluent, start today. It starts now. Take action. All right. Now, the other quote number 2 says, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. And that's from Aristotle. So if you repeatedly study and make it a habit to take action and to use what you learn, then you will excel. You will do well, all right? So 3 benefits of taking action. Here we go. The first benefit is you will increase your confidence. Next, you will improve your ability to speak off the cuff. Now, let me explain this to you. Off the cuff just means something done or said without being prepared or thought about in advance. So without any preparation. So think about it. When someone comes to speak to you in English, you may not have prepared anything. So you have to speak off the cuff. But if you've taken action prior to that conversation and practice over and over, then you will be able to respond. All right? Now, the third benefit. Here we go. The third benefit is you will turn short-term memory into long-term memory. Now, how do you do this? Throughout your day, you will learn various words, expressions, idioms, patterns, and other things. This is true. You learn so many things, even through my video lessons and through other amazing English teachers that are on YouTube. You learn so much through their lessons, through books and websites, right? So you need to use these things in real conversations. Now, If you don't have anyone to talk to, you may make sentences. Let me show you again my screen so you can read along with me. You can make sentences alone about your daily experiences. Again, you can use the 5 W's to make these sentences. Now, you can also use what you learn in the comments you type under YouTube videos or in groups. Remember, I told you in the beginning of this video, always comment underneath the YouTube videos. After you watch my lessons, always comment. And in your comment, try to use something you learned in the lesson. I've taught you many words in this lesson and many expressions. Use one of them in the comment section, okay? All right, now, the next thing you need to do is to study the 7-day action plan. Now, this is part 2 of this lesson, and part 2 is found in my academy. So if you're already in my academy, click the link right in the description and you can go and check out the 7-day action plan. I give you the worksheet you need to actually put these habits into practice, to actually make them habits starting today using the 7-day action plan, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, watch part 2, click the link in the description to go to my academy, join, and actually start studying and using the 7-day action plan. I will talk to you next week, but as always, remember to speak English. Now you know I didn't forget. It's story time. All right, now today's story is actually a little bit of a serious one. It's good, but I want to tell you about one of my close friends. She's Korean, but I want to tell you about something she did for me that I will never forget. And I'm telling you this story because I want you to realize that along your journey studying English, there are going to be people that are going to help you, and they're going to help you get to the next level. And you should always be grateful for those individuals. So, and I'll tell you her name at the end. So, when I was in South Korea, you know, I was a teacher there and I loved it, but I also studied Korean, and I was in grad school in South Korea. So I went to a Korean university. I went to Seouldae, which is Seoul National University, and I studied Oriental painting. And it wasn't easy. I loved it. I loved my classmates. I loved my teachers. But it was a difficult process when it got to the end because everything was in Korean and I had to take exams in Korean. And there was also an exam that I had to take that had some hanja, some Chinese letters in it. So preparing for the exam was very difficult. And to be honest, I failed 2 times. This was the graduation. I was for the graduation exam, like the final exam to graduate, and I failed 2 times. Now, the exam was only offered once every 6 months, and I told you I failed 2 times. So I studied for this test for a full year, and I still failed. And when I was coming up to the 3rd time of taking the test, I was very stressed. I was discouraged. I felt down. I felt like, can I really do this? And that's why I always tell you all that I understand exactly what you're feeling when you get frustrated when you're studying English, because English is difficult. So my friend, she was also in our department. She studied Oriental painting and she's Korean. And we're still friends now. I asked her for some help. So I actually left Korea for 6 months just to study for the exam. So after I had failed twice and I had spent a year, so I said, you know what, let me go back to America and spend 6 months, stay with my parents. I said, do you guys mind supporting me for 6 months so that I can study for this exam full time? I had never done that in my entire life, just only studied for 6 months for one exam. So it was very difficult. I had to study Japanese art history, Chinese art history, Korean art history. There was a lot to study. So it was a bit overwhelming. So I asked my friend, I said, would you mind helping me? And she said, of course. For 6 months, she helped me. And let me tell you what she did. So I was in America and she was still in South Korea. And I had many different topics, many books to study. And what I would do is I would read the books and read the different topic about the different topics. And I would write, let's say, a full page in Korean about the topic. And I would send it to her just to see if the information that I found was correct. And also if my grammar was correct. And she would literally read every single thing that I sent her. She would do her own research to make sure what I was studying was correct. she would give me extra information telling me, Tiff, this is what you need to study. This is what you need to know. This went on for 6 months and she never complained. She never asked me for any money. She never said she wouldn't help me. I would message her, and the time difference. Sometimes nighttime here is daytime in Korea. So sometimes I'd be up late studying or be up early studying, which means it would be the opposite for her. She never complained. If I called her and I was stressed, she'd help me. She'd get me through it. And because of her, honestly, wow. Didn't plan for that. Yeah, she helped me a lot. And I really appreciated her. Man, I didn't think this was gonna happen. Anyways, she really helped me, and because of her, I passed the exam. And she didn't realize how much she meant, but yeah, guys. So her name is Suyeon, and she's a good friend to this day, and she really helped me a lot. And yeah, I'm really happy, and I was really blessed to have her. Oh, man, sorry guys. Her help really gave me the confidence in the exam, and the exam was difficult, but because of her help over that 6-month period, I was able to pass. And man, it didn't stop there. When I was writing my thesis in Korean, again, very difficult. Right before I turned it in, she spent literally, I think, a 12-hour day. Wow, sorry guys. A 12-hour day with me, editing and looking over my thesis and making sure that everything was correct for me. And yeah, as you're studying English and going along your journey, there are going to be people that help you as well. Never forget those people. So yeah, the story time was a little bit emotional, but they're happy tears, not bad tears. So Suyeon, thank you so much. 진짜 감사해. 진짜 감사해. 사랑해 언니. Okay, she'll understand that. All right, guys, enough with the tears. Remember to speak English, and I'll see you next week.